Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we are going to start a completely new topic. So today we are going to be starting with the unit 6 of biology in the human welfare. So we will see how different biological process or biological microorganisms are used for the human welfare. So the base chapter of this is about human health and diseases. So this is an introduction video and we will be discussing what is health and what is a disease. Before that, we will be looking into some factors about what causes the disease and on what does it cause the disease. So basically, it is the host and the pathogen and the relationship between them. So, um, just a moment. So, let me start by introducing myself. I'm Janani Saptharishi and I'm associated with India's largest learning platform, Unacademy. Let me quickly get you through what all are the benefits or of being subscribed to Unacademy. So, what all will you get from Unacademy is that you can avail daily live lectures. Yes, so you will have access to all the daily live lectures, all right, and you will also get live tests and live quizzes from which you can evaluate your performance and you will come to know where you stand. So, and we have a very structured course. By structured course, I mean you have a complete syllabus package with you that is designed to as per the perspective of your exam, and we will help you the best to prepare for it. And by complete coverage, I mean even if you join using my referral code and you're appearing for an examination like NEET, so you will avail the contents of not only my subject, that is I teach biology, and अपने अगर मेरा कोड यूज करके ज्वाइन किया तो ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है कि आप सिर्फ बायोलॉजी के बारे में सारे कंटेंट्स को एक्सेस कर पाएंगे. No, it is basically you will get access to all the subjects, that is physics, chemistry, biology. All right, so you will get access to all the contents. The complete syllabus is covered along with live test, mock test, quizzes, and we have a lot of interactive live sessions, and there is unlimited access in one subscription. You can avail access unlimitedly to all the recorded and the live lectures. So, when you prepare, you will get an opportunity to prepare with the live educators, the top educators of India with the help of live classes. So, you will have the best educator and you can choose your time, your comfort, just sit at home, relax, and you can make the most out of it. You can prepare with any educator you're comfortable with, and we offer you a very comprehensive syllabus. All you have to do is go and download the Unacademy Learning app and get its subscription. You can talk to us directly through the Telegram applications. All you have to do is just go and copy paste this URL. All this is given in the description box below and just click join. And as soon as you are done with this, done with the installation process and the subscription, you will get these fee options and along with the duration time. So you can choose your desired duration, and the best one I would recommend is the 12-month plan. Why? Because it is the most economical. You will get an access to all the contents for 12 months just for 15,000 rupees. And moreover, for an examination like NEET, you'll at least need 12 months in hand to prepare for it. And if you're in class 11th, I think the 12-month option would be the best suited for all of you. And if you're in your class 12, you could go with the 6-month or the 3-month plan. You have to use the code. Uh, Please use my code, Janani. That is my name. This is the referral code, and as soon as you use this code, you will get an 10% off on all these fee structures. So now the 12-month plan, you'll get it in just 13,500 rupees. So you can avail an extra 10% discount by just using my name, that is Janani. So let us move to today's topic. Let us start with the introduction of what are the basic needs for a living organism. Here we are going to be talking about the human welfare and all the living organisms and how can we benefit from biology. Okay? So, uh, what does a living organism need? Food, shelter is all a living organism needs to survive. Alright. Now, based on the mode of nutrition, ये सब आपने 11th में पढ़ा होगा. Living organisms जो होते हैं वो दो टाइप के होते हैं. Alright. एक है autotrophs. Autotrophs is that those can prepare their own food material through photosynthesis. Alright. तो जो जैसे plants हुए all green plants, what they do, they prepare their own food with the help of photosynthesis. They are not dependent on any other organisms. Whereas heterotrophs are the organisms that cannot prepare their own food and they are dependent on plants or the autotrophs for their survival. So here there are animals, humans and everything. Now, coming to the term of parasitism. This is basically an association of two organisms of different species from which one is yes. So basically what happens in parasitism, ये होता है दो species के बीच में, ठीक है? उसमें से एक species को होता है benefit and एक species को होता है loss या any adverse effect. So we are going to be talking about the term disease. Alright? And disease कौन cause करता है? Disease is always caused by a pathogen. And how is a pathogen? A pathogen is parasitic in nature. So it is basically if any pathogen is attacking me, the pathogen gets its food or fulfills its requirement, but I am the one who's adversely affected. Alright? The word parasitism is basically a Greek word that has come from parasitos. So parasitic means one eating food on others' table. The organism that obtains nourishment is called a parasite or the gainer. So अगर मुझे कोई organism attack कर रहा है, ठीक है, and I'm getting the disease, what in turn the organism is getting its food and shelter as I told you. तो जिस organism को food and shelter मिल रहा है, but I'm getting affected, then the organism is the parasite. Hi Mantesh. Hi Pankisha. Thank you Pankisha for joining in. So, the organism from which a parasite obtains the nourishment is called the host. Alright, so what is the host? Now, in this case, if I am getting the disease, तो organism को क्या मिल रहा है मुझसे? Food, shelter and all the nutrients. And what am I gaining? I am gaining, I am being affected. I am being affected by an adverse or a diseased condition. So I am the host who is providing the organism or the parasite its requirement. Okay? Now let us come to type of parasite. तो ये पैरासाइट्स जो है ये किस किस टाइप के हो सकते हैं हम ये देखते हैं पहले. So one, there are ectoparasites, all right. Then we have endoparasites. Then we have hyperparasites, monogenic parasites, that is ant, amoeba and all, and the digenic parasites. तो एक्टोपैरासाइट मतलब जो सरफेस में रहते हैं, एंडोपैरासाइट मतलब जो हमारे बॉडी के अंदर रहते हैं, एंड उनमें से व्हाट we have to study is the cytozoic or the intracellular one, that is the plasmodium, histozoic or the intercellular one. Okay, so intracellular is basically what is between two cells. अगर ये मेरे दो सेल्स है और इनके बीच में पैरासाइट सर्वाइव कर रहा है तो ये हुआ इंट्रासेल्यूलर. But if it is intercellular, that means this is my one cell and inside this there is a parasite. So this is histozoic. All right. This for the intracellular parasite is Plasmodium that causes malaria. All right. And then we have the Wuchereria, the histozoic. We will be discussing about all these endoparasites in detail. Then we'll have Coilozoic, that is the Ascaris. Okay. Now coming to what are ectoparasites. Ectoparasites live on the surface of the host body. Okay. Good evening, Pankisha. हेड लाइस और इच माइट्स ऑन ह्यूमन, ये सारे जो हेड लाइस है, जो भी माइट्स है, दे ऑल आर बेसिकली दे सर्वाइव ऑन द सरफेस ऑफ द ह्यूमन. ठीक है. तो टिक्स ऑन डॉग, कोपॉड्स ऑन मरीन फिशेस, ये सब है एक्टोपैरासाइट्स के एग्जांपल, यानी कि जो सरफेस में सर्वाइव कर. ऑलराइट. नाउ endoparasites is basically the parasites which live inside the host body, जो हमारी बॉडी के अंदर सर्वाइव करते हैं, यानी कि सरफेस के अंदर, और live within the host cell. Again, they are of three types, as I told you: cytozoic, that is the intracellular; histozoic, that is the intercellular; and the coilozoic parasites. ठीक है. अब आता है साइटोजोइक के वक्त, यानी कि इंट्रासेल्यूलर. They live within the host cells. That means Plasmodium vivax, Nosema notabilis, in that is Sperospora polymorpha. All right. तो ये बेसिकली सेल के अंदर होते हैं, दैट इज इंट्रासेल्यूलर, इनसाइड द सेल. हाय Karan, how are you? So this is basically an representation of Plasmodium in the human being, human RBC. Histozoic parasites, that is the intercellular parasites, they basically live between the two cells or the two tissue or the organs. So इसके examples are Wuchereria, Entamoeba, Histolica, etc. Alright, so they are basically living between the two cells. ठीक है. Propocyte of the Entamoeba histolica. Sorry, Entamoeba histolytica. सो एंट अमीबा के बारे में कंप्लीट हम लोग एक लेक्चर लेंगे, उसमें हम इसको डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे. ठीक है. नाउ कमिंग टू कोइलोजोइक पैरासाइट्स. कोइलोजोइक पैरासाइट्स इज व्हाट विल क्रिएट इट्स कैविटी एंड इट विल रिसाइड इनसाइड द होस्ट बॉडी. ठीक है. ये एक अपना कैविटी बना लेगा एंड उसमें रहेगा. एंड दे लिव मेनली इन द एलिमेंट्री कैनाल. ऑलराइट. So the example for this is Ascaris lumbricodes. ठीक है. ये Ascaris का एक representation है. So this is basically the female mosquito is not considered an obligate parasite, though it needs human blood for its fertility. Can you explain why? अगर किसी को ये आंसर पता है तो आप प्लीज लिखना चैट बॉक्स में. ठीक है. Now coming to hyper parasites. Parasite in or on a parasite. That means parasite which live on the body of another parasite. Alright. So the example is Nosema notabilis, that lives in the body of Cephalospora polymorpha, which lives in the urinary bladder of the cod fish. ठीक है. ये सब आपको याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं. You just need to remember that what is the parasite and कितने types है. Hi Hriday, how are you? Monogenetic parasite. It is a parasite which completes its life cycle in only one host. You have to remember this. What is a monogenetic parasite? मतलब जो अपना पूरा life cycle सिर्फ एक host के मदद से complete कर लेगा. The best example is Entamoeba historica and Ascaris lumbricodes. ठीक है. तो ये एक ही बार में अपना पूरा life cycle एक host में complete कर लेता है. Now, digenetic is basically which will require at least two hosts to complete this life cycle. So the best example for this is Plasmodium vivax, that what causes malaria. ठीक है. मलेरिया के लिए हमेशा दो होस्ट एटलीस्ट चाहिए होता है. And Wuchereria bancrofti. Parasites living in the gut of the host cells are called as enterozoic parasites. ये हमने देखा था. Ascaris is an enterozoic and a coilozoic, and Entamoeba is a heterozoic enterozoic and a histozoic. So Ascaris क्या है? Enterozoic and coilozoic, and Entamoeba is enterozoic and histozoic. ठीक है, एंट्रोजोइक मतलब जो हमारे अंदर रहता है, एंड अभी हमने देखा था कोइलोजोइक एंड हिस्टोजोइक का मतलब. ठीक है. So now we have completed monogenic and digenetic parasites. So the number of parasites and the host in hyperparasitism. So what happens in hyperparasitism? Hyperparasitism literally means that two parasites and two hosts. यानी कि एक parasite के ऊपर जब दूसरा parasite रहता है. Histozoic parasites are also called as histozoic parasites को intercellular parasite भी कहते हैं. ठीक है. इंटरसेल्यूलर मतलब जो एक सेल के अंदर, सॉरी, इंटरसेल्यूलर मतलब दो सेल्स या दो टिश्यूज के बीच में जो पैरासाइट सर्वाइव करता हो. ठीक है. प्रोटोजोआ एन एग्जाम्पल फॉर मोनोजेनेटिक पैरासाइट इज. तो मोनोजेनेटिक मतलब जो अपना लाइफ साइकिल एक ही होस्ट के मदद से कंप्लीट कर लेगा, दैट इज एंटामीबा हिस्टोलिका. नाउ लेट अस सी अब पैरासाइट किसको अफेक्ट करता है? पैरासाइट अफेक्ट करता है होस्ट को. नाउ लेट अस सी व्हाट आर द टाइप्स ऑफ होस्ट. सो होस्ट आर ऑफ थ्री टाइप्स: प्राइमरी होस्ट, सेकेंडरी होस्ट एंड द रिजर्वॉयर होस्ट. ठीक है. अब हम एक एक को पढ़ते हैं, हम जानते हैं वो क्या. यू जस्ट नीड टू रिमेम्बर व्हाट इट इज, like you just understand what it is. Itna you need not, like completely learn it and don't go in the details of it. This and all you just need to be aware, so that later terms or the later diseases you will understand how it is related. Fine. So primary host is the host that harbors the adult stage or the sexually mature stage of a parasite. ठीक है. प्राइमरी होस्ट मतलब जो उसके अडल्ट या फिर सेक्सुअली मैच्योर स्टेज ऑफ पैरासाइट को, और द होस्ट इन विच द पैरासाइट अंडरगोस सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन. यानी कि यहाँ पे जो भी हमारा पैरासाइट है वो होस्ट के अंदर आके अपना सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन या अपना मैच्योरिंग प्रोसेस कंप्लीट करेगा. ठीक है. नाउ द बेस्ट एग्जांपल इज the man is the host for man is the primary host for the Wuchereria bankruptcy. All right. And the female Anopheles mosquitoes is the primary host or the definitive host for Plasmodium vivax. They require a host like a human to undergo their sexual reproduction. All right. Now, coming to the secondary or the intermediate host. इसका मतलब क्या होता है कि it is the host that will harbor the developing larva, मतलब जो developing larva and immature stages or the asexual stages of a parasite, or the host in which the parasite will undergo asexual reproduction. So simply जो उनके larva को develop होने में help करे या फिर किसी भी immature stage को grow होने में help करे. तो primary host is associated with sexual reproduction and the secondary host is associated with the asexual reproduction. All right. So what are this example? This is a man suffering with Plasmodium vivax, and this is basically the female culex for the Wuchereria. All right. Coming to the reservoir host. So it is the host that lodges the infective stages of a parasite in its body when the human host is not available. रिजर्वॉयर होस्ट मतलब ये अपने आप को देखो, रिजर्वॉयर का मतलब क्या होता है? रिजर्व या फिर सेव करके रखना. तो यहाँ पे जब उनकी ह्यूमन होस्ट बॉडी अवेलेबल नहीं होती तो ये जो पैरासाइट है वो क्या करता है? इट इज द होस्ट दैट लॉजेस द इन्फेक्टिव स्टेजेस ऑफ अ पैरासाइट इन इट्स बॉडी. मतलब ये एक ऑल्टरनेटिव होस्ट ढूंढ लेता है जो ह्यूमन ना हो. जब ह्यूमन अवेलेबल नहीं है, so it will basically lodge or undergo the infective stages of a parasite in some other body. So in the reservoir host, the parasite neither undergoes development nor cause any disease. So this is a very important part and you need to remember this, that reservoir host में जो parasite है वो ना तो develop होगा and ना ही कोई disease cause करेगा. ठीक है. So monkey for Plasmodium. So Plasmodium vivax basically what it causes? It causes malaria for the humans. But when the humans are not available, this Plasmodium vivax will go into the monkeys. But जब ये monkeys के अंदर जाएगा, ये ना तो खुद डेवलप होगा और ना Plasmodium vivax will undergo any development, ना कि monkey को कभी मलेरिया या कोई भी disease cause होगा. Alright. Then you also have the African antelope for Trypsinoma gambians. You remember monkey for Plasmodium, that is more than enough. Primary host for the Plasmodium is the female Anopheles mosquito. Alright, now African antelope GNU is the reservoir for the Trypsinoma gambians. We have discussed this. Which of the following is a histozoic parasite having man as the definitive host? अभी किस histozoic parasite में man is the definitive or the primary host? Definitive host का मतलब होता है primary. It is the Butyraria bancrofti. Reservoir host of Trypsinoma gambians is, again the same question is repeated, it is the GNU. Intermediate host is absent in the life cycle of किसमें इसका life cycle absent होता है? It is the entamoeba. Alright. Now moving to the vectors and their type. अब हम देखते हैं vectors क्या होता है. Basically दो type के vectors होते हैं. अभी now what happens is vectors क्या होते हैं? Vectors is basically like any food, or it will basically act as a medium for the disease transmission. Medium for disease transmission. Best example जैसे in case of corona. So corona virus या COVID-19 कैसे spread होता है? It will spread either by direct contact, that is if you touch a person or you shake hands, you sneeze, alright, direct contact से, or it can also be through a indirect contact like sharing a towel or sharing a piece of cloth or touching the same place that the person has, alright. So this is basically the vector, यानी कि वो as a medium cause करेगा जिसमें infection present होगा and you happen to get in contact with that vector. So basically दो type के vector होते हैं. One is the mechanical vector, यानी कि इसमें the vector will basically transmit the disease from one person to the another. So they are the houseflies and cockroaches. So these houseflies, they will carry any infection and they will go and sit on a food or somewhere else, and when you happen to eat that contaminated food or consume that contaminated food, you will be affected with the disease. And biological vectors are basically these: female anopheles mosquito, female culex mosquito. हम इसके बारे में बात करते हैं. So, it is the vector which merely transfers the infective stages of a parasite, but no parasitic development takes place in it. तो ये सिर्फ ट्रांसमिशन या ट्रांसफर का काम करता है, बट कोई भी पैरासिटिक डेवलपमेंट इसके अंदर नहीं होगा. लाइक प्लाज्मोडियम वाइवैक्स में हमने क्या देखा कि वो कुछ डेवलपमेंट अपने वेक्टर के अंदर अंडरगो करेगा, बट इन दिस केस नो, द ओनली जॉब इट हैज टू डू इज बेसिकली द ट्रांसफर. Houseflies and cockroaches for Entamoeba histolytica. Now, biological vectors, it is basically the vectors in which the parasite will undergo a part of development before it gets transferred to another host. ठीक है? इसका एग्जाम्पल क्या है? एनोफिलिस फॉर प्लाज्मोडियम, क्यूलेक्स फॉर बुचरेरिया. सो इसमें क्या होता है कि द पैरासाइट मतलब द वेक्टर इन विच द पैरासाइट, तो इस वेक्टर के अंदर जो पैरासाइट है वो थोड़ा सा डेवलपमेंट अंडरगो करेगा. दैट मीन्स द पैरासाइट या तो एसेक्सुअल या सेक्सुअल और सम टाइप ऑफ डेवलपमेंट विल टेक प्लेस इनसाइड व्हाट, इनसाइड द वेक्टर. ऑलराइट. So it is the Anopheles in case of the Plasmodium and Culex in case of the Butyraria. So cockroaches कौन से टाइप के vectors होते हैं? Cockroaches are mechanical vectors, alright. And the example for biological vectors is basically the female Culex mosquitoes. अब आते हैं parasitic adaptations पे. ये parasites अपने आप को किस तरह adapt करते हैं? So parasites have a special adaptation to meet the requirement and lead a successful life in the host. So in order to live in the host, some parasites have developed structure like hooks, suckers and rostilium. What it is used for? It is used for anchoring. तो बेसिकली ये जो मॉस्किटोज में भी आप ऐसे जो स्ट्रक्चर्स देखते हैं, ठीक है, और एनीथिंग दैट विल हेल्प द पैरासाइट टू गेट अटैच विद द होस्ट, ठीक है। तो ये क्या क्या हो सकता है, या तो हुक हो सकता है, एक ऐसे हुक जो हेल्प करे फॉर द पैरासाइट टू गेट इन कांटेक्ट विद द स्किन ऑफ द होस्ट, या तो कोई सकर हो सकता है जिससे इट कैन सक द ब्लड आउट, और द रोस्टेलियम। ऑलराइट, एंकरिंग मतलब अटैच करना। सो yes. So some intestinal parasites have developed some protective cuticle to withstand the action of the digestive system of the host. तो intestinal parasites को basically क्या चाहिए, हमारा जो intestine है, stomach है, they are highly acidic and उनके pH levels जो है उनको resist करने के लिए क्या होता है, they have a protective cuticle, ठीक है, मतलब एक thick covering, and this thick covering will basically act as a protection against all the enzymes that are secreted in the host's digestive tract. All right. Now, the example for this is Ascaris lumbricoides. They have a protective covering so that these enzymes cannot damage them. Some intestinal parasites will produce something called as anti-enzymes. And what are anti-enzymes? Basically, intestine में इनको क्या अटैक कर रहा है? They are attacked by enzymes of the intestine, ठीक है, इन्हें इनफैक्ट अटैक कर रहा है enzymes, तो they in turn produce something called as anti-enzymes, जो इस enzyme को जाके neutralize करेगा, and they will affect on the host digestive enzymes. Now example for this is the Taenia solium, very common 11th class में इसके बारे में बहुत पढ़ा होगा. Some parasites live as obligatory anaerobes. All right. Now, what I mean by obligatory anaerobes is that they are 100% dependent on the oxygen. All right. Oh, sorry, they are not at all dependent on the availability of oxygen. ठीक है. तो अगर इनके पास बिल्कुल ऑक्सीजन नहीं है, even then they can survive. So the availability of oxygen is very rare for them. The example is Entamoeba histolytica and the Taenia solium again. Now, some intestinal parasites have something called as facultative anaerobes. That is, if oxygen is not available, then what happens is that they live in an they live anaerobically. यानी कि they are facultative anaerobes. उन्हें they need oxygen, but if oxygen is not present, they can live without it. So they adapt themselves कि वो oxygen के बिना भी रह लेंगे. But if oxygen is present, they will be under the aerobic condition. Alright. So if oxygen is not available, they can live anaerobically, and if oxygen is available, they respire aerobically. ठीक है. तो ये flexible होते हैं basically. So the example for this is Ascaris lumbricoides. Now, the morphological and the anatomical features are greatly simplified by emphasizing their reproductive potential. By what I mean that, for example, Ascaris has 2 lakhs eggs per day. Alright, so Ascaris lays 2 lakhs eggs per day. In Taenia solium, the body is divided into 700 to 900 proglottids, of which each proglottid acts as a unit for the reproductive system, and it will release approximately 35,000 eggs. ठीक है, तो मतलब ये सब उनके morphological and anatomical features है, and they basically, everyone has their different reproductive potential. So the life cycle of these life cycles of endoparasites are more complex because of their extreme specialization. सारे ही endoparasites के जो life cycles है, they are very complex. Hi Uruj, how are you? Now, for example, the life cycle of Fasciola hepatica, the sheep liver fluke, is very complex, involving many development stages. में बहुत सारी development stages होते हैं. Then there is an intermediate host to increase the chances for a new definitive यानी कि primary host. So we'll study about many such life cycles. So some parasites also develop a cyst wall. Okay, cyst wall to tide over unfavorable conditions like the desiccation while reaching the new host. We have studied about the cyst walls in the first chapter, that is the reproduction in organisms. All right. तो ये बेसिकली एक ऐसा वॉल होता है जो अनफेवरेबल कंडीशन से प्रोटेक्ट करता है एंड इसके एग्जांपल क्या है एंटमीबा हिस्टोलाइटिका फाइन some parasites elude the production of vaccines against them and they keep changing the surface antigens from time to time. इसका मतलब क्या कुछ पैरासाइट्स ना अपने सरफेस एंटीजेंस को चेंज करते रहते हैं विच विच इज बेसिकली रेफर्ड टू एज द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ वैक्सीन यानी कि दे विल secrete some antigens that are helpful for the prevention of the disease from time to time. The example is Plasmodium vivax and the HIV, etc. Brood parasitism, again an important term. In villages, the eggs of ducks are mixed with those of the hen and are allowed to be incubated by a hen egg. Kind of human-induced, this is a kind of human-induced brood parasitism. तो ब्रूड पैरेटिज्म मतलब जब हम अपने आप से कुछ वेरिएशन इंड्यूस कर रहे हैं. HIV is basically a smart parasite and reproductive potential is well developed in this parasite. Reproductive potential किसमें सबसे well developed था? It was Entamoeba histolytica. So effects of the parasite on the host. अब जब पैरासाइट एक होस्ट को अफेक्ट करता है तो क्या क्या होता है? जनरली द पैरासाइट कॉज द वीकनिंग ऑफ द बॉडी. तो ये बॉडी के इम्यून सिस्टम या किसी भी पार्ट को जाके वीकन कर देगा होस्ट के, ठीक है. And it will cause the deprivation of nutrients, fluids, metabolites, and they compete with their host for the same. तो जो भी nutrients, fluids, metabolites, जो भी होस्ट को जरूरत है, ये सारे चीजें जो पैरासाइट है वो होस्ट से छीन लेगा या उसके साथ compete करेगा कि it requires, it will try to take away all the nutrients from the host. And they may also call pathological effects. Pathological effects is simply all the symptoms I'm referring to. So, the parasitic castration, by that I mean some parasites cause the degeneration of the gonads of the host, making them sterile. So, इससे क्या होगा? Parasitic castration. Castration is basically when the gonads degenerate या they become sterile. ठीक है, sterile यानी कि वो आगे reproduce नहीं कर पाएगा. किसी parasitic condition में what happens, it will in turn make the human sterile. So Sacculina basically causes the degeneration of the gonads of the crab Carcinus maenas. All right. Now, yes, this is just an example. These are the pictures of it. Sacculina is basically the root-headed barnacle of the crustaceans. All right. Now, coming to Neoplasia. Some parasites cause an abnormal growth of the host cells. तो ये कभी कभी एक abnormal growth या uncontrolled growth of the host cell cause करते हैं in a tissue to form new structures. So this effect is the neoplasia, or which can lead to cancer. So some viruses are also which lead to cancers. They cause uncontrolled cell division. All right, जिसके वजह से cancer cause हो सकता है. What is gigantism? Some parasites cause an abnormal increase in the size of the host. Now, gigantism we have studied. Okay, gigantism and dwarfism. All right. So, इसमें क्या होता है कि कुछ parasites के वजह से there is an abnormal increase in the size of host. This is called the condition is called the gigantism. So the larva stages of the Fasciola hepatica cause the gigantism in the snail, that is the intermediate host. Alright, now coming to hyperplasia, some rare parasites cause the increase in the number of host cells. This is called as hyperplasia. So example is Fasciola hepatica in the bile duct of the sheep and the gingival hyperplasia. क्योंकि यहाँ पे इंक्रीज इन द नंबर ऑफ होस्ट सेल होती है, एक्सट्रीम इंक्रीज इन ऑल द सेल्स. Now coming to the hypertrophy, that is when some parasite will cause an abnormal increase in the volume or the size of the infected host cells. So this condition is basically hypertrophy. क्या होता है कि जो सेल्स के वॉल्यूम और साइज होते हैं वो abnormally increase हो जाते हैं. Plasmodium vivax, very important example, what causes malaria, will increase the size of the RBC in the infected person. ठीक है. Some other diseases caused by the parasites. African sheep sickness, that is Styroma gambisis, Delhi boils or Tashkent ulcers, that is Leishmania tropica, Kala azar, dum-dum fever, visceral leishmaniasis is caused by Leishmania donovani. Malaria, Plasmodium vivax, and elephantiasis by Wuchereria bankrupti. आप सिर्फ ये 3 चीजें याद रखेंगे तो काफी है. काला आजार caused by Leishmania donovani, malaria caused by Plasmodium vivax, and elephantiasis caused by Wuchereria bankrupti. ठीक है. A crustacean acts as a parasite on the another crustacean is basically the saccharine. काला आजार किसके वजह से cause होता है? It is Leishmania donovani. Trypanosoma gambians basically causes the African sleeping sickness. Now starting with the very integral part of this chapter, that is health and disease. Whatever we saw till now was just basically to give an idea about how the host and parasite function. तो अब start करते हैं कि हम health किसे कहते हैं. Health is basically defined as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. When all these three states, physical, mental, and social, are in a balanced condition and are not merely मतलब अगर हमें डिजीज नहीं है तो इसका मतलब ये हम नहीं बोल सकते कि वी आर हेल्दी. ऑलराइट. So it is not merely the absence of any disease or absence of physical fitness. So अगर आप like if you're thin, fat, or physically not fit, that also doesn't make you healthy or unhealthy. And even if any disease is absent or if you're perfectly fine, then also it cannot be that your health is perfectly fine. So when we call a person healthy, when he's physically, mentally, and socially balanced and he is in a well-being condition. So what all is required? Balanced diet, regular exercise, personal hygiene, right attitude of mind, good habits all lead to good health. So now we'll come to something called as good humor hypothesis. So basically, this theory was given by a Greek scientist like Hippocrates, and as well as the Indian Ayurveda system of medicine also gave this theory. तो यहाँ पे उन्होंने क्या बताया कि it was a thought that a person with black bile belonged to a hot personality and would have fevers. All right. तो ये विलियम हार्वरी ने कहा था. The discovery of circulation of blood by William Harvey using the experimental method and the demonstration of normal body temperature. So he basically established or concluded or found out that that there is basically whenever the temperature of the body increases, that means something wrong with your health is going on. So what is the normal body temperature? It is 37 degree Celsius. Using the thermometer in persons with the black bile. तो जिन्हें भी black bile था, they used to suffer with high temperatures. And person with black bile disproved the good humor hypothesis. All right. Now, according to the good humor hypothesis, health was considered as a state of body and mind where there was balanced in certain humors. तो अकॉर्डिंग टू द गुड ह्यूमर हाइपोथेसिस अगर इन सब चीज़ों का बैलेंस हो, देयर वाज अ बैलेंस ऑफ सर्टेन ह्यूमर like regular exercise and if you had a right attitude of mind, if you the person was considered healthy. So health affecting factors kya hai? Basically there are the infections, then you'll have the lifestyle of a person, and finally the genetic disorders. So infection is something like what you can get to a bacteria from a bacteria or a virus like of the COVID and etc. All those are infections. Genetic disorders जो हमें हमारे parents से या we get it from the past generations. वहाँ से अगर कुछ flow हो तो वो है genetic disorders. And we can also attain some of the health affecting factors like obesity and such things from the our lifestyle. ठीक है. सो इन्फेक्शन जैसे कि मैंने कहा पैरासाइट बैक्टीरिया वायरस फंगाई अगर कोविड आपको हो गया तो वो इन्फेक्शन है. ठीक है. जेनेटिक इज बेसिकली इनबॉर्न और कंजेनिटल डिफेक्ट यानी कि बाय बर्थ. ऑलराइट. Inherited from parents to children. Irregular food habits such as smoking, drinking, drugs, alcohol abuse is all a sign of the lifestyle. Now, how does healthy habit helps us? So it reduces infant or maternal mortality. All right. So basically, it will help the keeping the child healthy. Economic prosperity, increase in productivity, longevity. That means long lifespan for people and more efficient work. Now, health gaining measures. What all do you need to maintain your health? Maintenance of hygienic food, clean water, proper disposal of biological waste, proper time to time vaccinations, personal hygiene, regular exercises, diet, and control of vectors. ठीक है. हम इसके बारे में काफी कुछ पढ़ेंगे. Alright, ये सब तो आप जानते हैं. About vaccinations also we will be studying further. So, one of the health affecting factor is lifestyle. One of the health gaining measures is regular exercise. Now, coming to the types of diseases. So, diseases कितने? What is basically a disease? पहले हम ये देखते हैं. So, basically जब भी हमारी normal या healthy state, ठीक है, change हो जाती है हमारे body की, it causes some discomfort or disability. This condition is termed as डिजीज. यानी कि जब भी एक नॉर्मल स्टेट से हमारी बॉडी डिविएट हो जाती है और वी गेट सम सिम्टम्स और you start like for example if I'm infected with corona, what I'll get, I'll start getting fever, I'll start getting some disturbance or discomfort in my throat on the respiratory organs. All right. तो रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक्ट को सबसे पहले इन्फेक्ट करेगा. आई गेट फीवर, आई गेट टायर्डनेस. ऑलराइट. सो फैटीग, दीस और आर दी सिम्टम्स. तो ये क्या इंडिकेट करता है? ये इंडिकेट करता है एक डिजीज कंडीशन को. दैट इज नॉर्मल स्टेट से मेरा बॉडी डिविएट हो चुका है. टाइप्स ऑफ डिजीजेस, इन्फेक्शियस डिजीजेस एंड नॉन इन्फेक्शियस डिजीजेस. इन्फेक्शियस डिजीजेस यानी कि जो बैक्टीरिया फंगाई इन सब से होता है, like your COVID-19, the common cold, the viral fever which you get is all infectious diseases, dengue, malaria and everything. Non-infectious diseases यानी कि जो genetic diseases है, जो congenital है, वो सब. ठीक है. Infected diseases basically easily transmitted from one person to another. It is caused by pathogens. All right. Now, very common and suffered by everyone from any of these diseases at some time to time. मतलब काफी common होता है, like common cold. Till now, almost everyone listening to this lecture would have suffered with common cold at some point or the other in their life. So how is common cold transmitted? It is basically just transmitted by the sneeze or the cough or some other person having the disease. Alright, so these are all the infectious diseases. So malaria, typhoid, pneumonia, common cold, ringworm, amoebic dysentery, or are the examples. Coming to the non-infectious diseases, they are not easily transmitted from one person to the another, and they are not caused by pathogens. Examples is genetic disorders. सबसे पहले kidney problem, heart problem, they are not transmitted from one person or the another. If you have a kidney problem, then either it must be your diet or you might have some other problem. If it's a heart problem, again it can be a congenital problem, or you may be having some adverse condition, but it cannot pass from one person to another. Common parasites causing disease in man. So such disease causing forms are called as pathogens. So whatever will cause the disease in a man is termed as a pathogen. So wide range of forms that belong to it can be a protozoa, helminth, bacteria, fungi, virus. All can cause the disease in a man. So the pathogen can either enter the body by various means and multiply in them and interfere with their normal activities and will result in a morphological and physiological damage. व्हाट आई मीन कि इनमें से कोई भी पैथोजन लाइक वायरस सपोज हमारे बॉडी के अंदर आएगा, जैसे कोरोना अब हमारे बॉडी के अंदर आया, उसने मल्टीप्लाई किया, इट कॉज्ड एन इंटरफेस विद द नॉर्मल एक्टिविटी, यानी कि उसने डिस्कम्फर्ट कॉज किया, मॉर्फोलॉजिकल चेंज मतलब एक्सटर्नली मैं टायर्ड हुई और आई लॉस्ट अ लॉट ऑफ वेट, समथिंग लाइक दैट, and the physiological damage, definitely what it has damaged, it has done to my lungs or the respiratory tract. ठीक है, इसको ये कौन कॉज करता है, ये सब कॉज करता है पैरासाइट. सो पैरासाइट और पैथोजेंस इन अ मैन, the examples are given: entamoeba, histolica, plasmodium vivax, ascaris, etc. So this was basically just an overview of the chapter, and from the next chapter video onwards, we will be discussing about what are the various bacterial disease, viral disease, and also we will be discussing about the life cycles of entamoeba, histolica, Plasmodium vivax, how malaria is caused, and finally we will get into some immunologic terms, and we will discuss about how important is vaccinations and how your body immunity reacts to all the diseases. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much.